ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees to our weekly Bhagavatam study. So we are about to complete now seventh canto. Today will be the last class for seventh canto. In the entire seventh canto, we have been discussing about how the Supreme Lord is impartial to every living entity. He is simply being the maintainer of the entire universe. He simply assists the mode which is prominent throughout the universe. If mode of goodness is prominent, he will facilitate the growth of the people who are in the mode of goodness. If mode of passion is prominent, he will facilitate the growth of the people in the mode of passion. If the mode of ignorance is prominent, he will facilitate the growth of the people in the mode of ignorance. So that point has been indicated in the very first chapter. Narada Muni talks about it. And of course, Sukadeva Goswami talks about it. In order to illustrate it with a story, he talks about the conversation that took place between Yudhishthir Maharaj and Narada Muni just after Rajasuya sacrifice. Originally, the question was by Parikshit Maharaj that how is it that Lord remains so impartial? He remains impartial like this. But on the other hand, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked one question: how is it that Lord is so partial? Even a Asura who is Shishpal, Lord gave him, who is offense personified, but Lord gave him liberation. So how the Lord is so impartial? The Lord is so partial. That is Yudhishthira Maharaj's point. Parikshit Maharaj point is that Lord is so impartial. So, but Narada Muni explains that Lord is neither partial nor impartial, but is reciprocal. He responds according to the amount of surrender the devotees are doing. That he talks in terms of the story of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada. 10 long chapters elaborately discuss about the pastime of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj, vividly giving us example of how a pure devotee behaves in this world, how a non-devotee behaves in this world. A person who is completely non-devotee, how does he behave? And how a pure devotee, completely surrendered person will behave in this world. So what makes a person like Hiranyakashipu like completely non-devotees, and what makes a person who is like completely surrendered full devotee? It's not only their only one thing, it is about the mercy, the circumstances in which they are born, the things how they are grown up, all these things, so many things are part of that. You cannot pinpoint only this one is the cause. So there are multiple causes are there. So we have kind of discussed elaborately about all these things, the pastime of entire Narasimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu, etc., etc., elaborately discussed. After hearing this pastime, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked one more question. See, You talked about Prahlad Maharaj, who is a great devotee, Uttama Bhakta. Fine. You talked about Hiranyakashipu, who is hopeless case. But we don't see people around us in neither of these cases. The people around us are neither like Prahlad, they are nor like Hiranyakashipu. We don't see that much. Even Duryodhana was there. Duryodhana is also not like Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was a very tyrant. So then he asked, then what about the people in general? How do they attain perfection? What kind of varnashrama duty they should follow, following which they will attain liberation, which Prahlad Maharaj was offered by the Lord, which Shishupala got. Hmm? And Lord offered Prahlad, not only you, 21 generations from your family will be liberated automatically because you have become devotee. For people in general, because he's a king, he need to look after the welfare of all common people based on what they can do. He cannot insist on everyone that, oh, everyone should be pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. He may request, but he cannot insist. He cannot put that order that everyone should be like pure devotee like Prahlad. But he can look for a general means which people can follow and perfect life so that he can facilitate that the people can follow. In order to understand that, he is asking two questions. One is, please tell me how a devotee who is not yet become like a completely surrendered devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, but is a mixed devotee. As of now, he has his household responsibilities as well as he has worldly responsibilities, and so many things are there. While conducting all the responsibilities, how he should practice bhakti so that he will attain perfection at the end of his life? This is first question. And for that, he gave the answer is that, see, he told one should do everything like Prahlad Maharaj. Also, may not be that much high level surrender, but that that anticipation, that aspiration should be there. I should be like that. So then perform one's varnashram duties and also keep those ideals in mind and work forward to attain those ideals. So that is what is the recommendation for a mixture bhakta. So wherever one is, continue to doing those varnashram duties and also aspire to become like Prahlad. That will liberate them. That will enable them to go back, come back to Godhead. So that is for bhaktas, devotees who are in the Mishra Bhakta. That is called as Sanatan Dharma there. The word is used like the Sanatan Dharma, like that. That is Acharyas indicated the sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhaktas need to do sadhana. So there it is explained that they need to do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakyam, Adhanam. The nine things are very clearly mentioned in one of the verse. Along with that, performing Varnashram duties and worldly responsibilities, all those things are all clearly mentioned. So they should do. They are not exception for that. Now, the next important question is, what about others who are not even Mr. Bhaktas? How the common people, a common man, can attain perfection by executing their varnashrama duties? Of course, everyone is executing. In Yudhishthira Maharaj's kingdom, everyone is executing varnashrama duty. There is no problem. But how one should execute the varnashram duty, with what mentality, with what kind of temperament, so that the execution of varnashram duties itself is the cause of their eventual liberation. That was the question. So Narada Muni was very happy to speak about it and is speaking very elaborately, starting from 11th chapter all the way till now. Now the subject matter is getting concluded. So he speaks about the varnashram duties are there, everyone performs, but how one should perform the duties of the four varnas and four ashramas, that performance of these varnashram duties lead them to attain liberation. That is the main topic of all these chapters. So in the first chapter there was a discussion about four varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. What are their duties, how they should perform their duties, and so that eventually they lead to perfection. I think for Brahmana there is a mention about three duties for sustenance, three duties for spiritual progress. Yajan, Yajan, Patan, Patan, Dana, Parigraha. इसमें three things are for sustenance. What is the three things? teaching the Vedas, worshipping the deities, or performing yajna, and accepting charity. Of course, the kings and other people will be giving charity. They should accept charity. No issue in that. Brahmanas can take charity. No issue. And teach and take remuneration. No issue. They should worship deity, perform yajna, and perform other samskaras, etc. They take payment. No issue. Because that they need to survive because they have learned it and they are doing it, and then that is for survival. Three things are for survival, day-to-day survival, and three things are for spiritual progress. For the spiritual progress, what is that? Studying the Vedas for themselves. Teaching the Vedas is for livelihood. But studying the Vedas and trying to understand the essence of the Vedas, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. What was that verse? Vedesha sarve Rahameva Vedyo. So they should come to that conclusion that the essence of the Vedas is absolute truth, which is Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna. Further, they need to continue to study, whether they may be Gurukula or Gruhasta or Vanaprastha or Sannyasa, wherever they may be, they should be studying continuously. That is a spiritual progress. Then, when they receive charity from the king, they should only accept whatever is required for them, whatever excess is there, that should be given away in charity. They should never ever keep accumulating. One who want to go back home abroad, what is the use of accumulating things here? Like that. So one is studying the Vedas, second one is giving charity, third one is worshipping the deity or performing yajna for their own spiritual progress. Previously, he was worshipping the deity and performing yajna for others by taking payment for his own livelihood. But he at his own home, he should be regularly doing performance of yajna and regularly doing worshipping of the deity, the household deity, and all for his spiritual progress. So these three things are mentioned for Jivika and three things are mentioned for spiritual progress for Brahmanas, starting to start with. Then for Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they can also do all the six, but the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas should not do one thing. They should never ever accept charity. For Jivika, they should not accept charity. Instead, they should do other occupations like agriculture and other things if they cannot do. Like Kshatriyas anyway, they have to collect the taxes. They have to take care of all the people. They have to collect the taxes from everyone except from the Brahmanas. And Vaishya, they can do agriculture, trade, business, and all for their Jivika. So even though when they went to Gurukula, they are also trained in performance of yajna and they can also become teacher if required. So, but mainly, the main occupation for their livelihood for Kshatriyas is taking care of the kingdom and collecting taxes. For Vaishyas is agriculture, cow production, trade, and all. But in case of emergency, they can do deity worship, they can teach, these two they can do. So like that. So Shudras, they need to serve all these three categories and they are taken care very nicely because Shudras do not have that high level of surrender, high level of sense control to study and follow the Vedic rules and regulations. That's why they need to be under the supervision of a master. The master guides them day-to-day basis. So like that. The four Varnas are happy also. There is a discussion about the woman being a wife, how they should be being under the shelter of fathers, husband and sons, etc. All those things like that. And also the duties during emergencies, they are talked about in the chapter 11 about four Varnas. Then next chapter, Brahmachari. Then Vanaprastha. How Brahmachari should lead his life in the Gurukula. How Vanaprastha should lead his life in the Vana. After living the life of Gruhasta, one should take Vanaprastha order, one should take a vow. I shall practice for 12 years. If not, 10 years. If not, 8 years. If not, 6 years. If not, 4 years. If not, 2 years. At least 2 years. The minimum Vanaprastha, one should practice for 2 years. While practicing these Vanaprastha austerities, so many austerities we have seen, they should not cook, they should not eat anything cooked, they should only eat raw food, and that too, that fruits and other things are fell down from the trees, they should not pluck from the tree. So like that, some very typical things are there. So they should follow for 12 years. Afterwards, they can take sannyas. If they have taken vow only for 6 years, they follow 6 years, then take sannyas. So like that. In the sannyas, at least in the Vanaprastha, you are in the forest and you are only eating the fruits from the trees. But in the sannyasa, you again come to city You go door to door and beg. Begging is much humiliating than living in the forest in a austere state. So sannyasa is like removes all one's ego. So like that. So whether one is vanaprastha or whether one is sannyasa, when the health becomes deteriorated, if one cannot do any more austerities, then one should stop all the activities, lie down on the ground, stop seeing, stop hearing, stop touching, stop smelling, and stop tasting. Just breathe and wait for the death to come. Because health is not good, you can't do much. There is no one to assist you. You are alone. Maybe at max one person may be there with you, but still, if one becomes old and invalid and becomes sick, just lie down and give up the body. Both Vanaprastha and Sannyas. That has been discussed. So Vanaprastha thing is discussed in the second chapter, 22nd to 12th chapter. 13th chapter primarily completely talks about sannyasi. All these things. In between, the conversation that took place between Prahlad Maharaj and Avaduta Brahmana. In the bracket, Lord Dattatreya. How and why a sannyasi should lead a life like that, like a python. He says that I see all the grahasthas, they are working very hard to get happiness, but I don't see anything any such happiness in this material world. This material world is meant to give dukkha only. After seeing thousands of such kind of miserable grahasthas, I decided to be like the python. I am not worried. I am lying here, food comes on its own accord. Lord will provide. When food comes to me, I'll eat. Other if it don't come, I don't eat. Anyway, I'm lying down, I don't need much energy. So, like that, he talks about the principle of renunciation. He learned what he learned from honey bee and as well as our python. So, like that, he said all these things. Honeybee is accumulating nectar, honey from different flowers. Eventually, one day the thief will come and take away. Then, what is the use? So, better not to collect. Second thing is that, I mean, don't worry about your maintenance. Python, no एक जगह पर रहता है. It will get its main lord will provide. So, that is also done. So, he has become like Python. Ajagara Vrutti. Otherwise, Ayachita Vrutti does not even beg. If it comes like Madhavendra Puri, if there somebody gives, take it. If don't, no one gives, don't worry. Something like that. That conversation also being talked about in the 13th chapter, I suppose. That is over. Now, 14th chapter is all talks about Grihasthas. So it primarily talks about the 6 duties that Grihasthas have for society. Deva, Rishi, Bhuta, Apta, and Nranam. Basically, there are five things are mentioned in the chapter. Sixth one is included, not included, is included in something else. So like that. Basically, Deva Druna. We need to keep performing yajna time and again because we are getting so many things from them. We need to reciprocate in return. Rishi Runa, reading the Shastra and propagating and preserving and following the instructions of Shastra. Deva Runa, Pitru Runa. Pitru Runa is about performing Shraddha rites, when to perform, where to perform, some details are given. And Bhutaruna, other living entities, and Aptaruna, the Nru or Aptaruna, human beings. For human beings and for other living entities, allow them to take their share of food. Don't steal their food. For animals, allow forests to be there and lands to grazing should be there. Don't encroach their property. Give their Ishavasya is the surrounding. For Aptaruna, when somebody comes to our home, treat them as the Supreme Lord has come to our home and respect them. So like that, providing them meals, water, resting place, etc., etc. So like this, we have to do all these things. That is the principal duty of a grihastha. That is fine. 14th chapter was completed like that. The basic duties of all these things. And 15th chapter will elaborate few things which are not clearly mentioned in the 14th chapter about the grihasthas only. What is the ideal disposition of a grihastha? What kind of ideal disposition of grihastha one can easily attain? Is it easily becomes qualified to enter into vanaprastha and sannyasa and eventually attain liberation on the path of liberation. So that ideal behavior, when to perform Shraddha, where to perform Shraddha, how to perform Pitru Yajna, Deva Yajna, Nru Yajna, Apta Yajna, etc. are briefly mentioned. Then, why one will be able to perform this and when one will not be able to perform this? For that, some technical details are mentioned. Renunciation is the primemost factor. Renunciation will come when we have proper understanding of what is what. With the help of a chariot body analogy, here Narada Muni is talking about what is the Atma, what is the material body. So understand it properly, then with that understanding, lead a life in a proper way so that your life will be on the journey back to Godhead. So some philosophical discussion is given. Ultimately, to conclude, yes, Yudhishthira Maharaj, you are talking about especially Varnashrama duties, but basically majority of people in the Varnashrama duties are Grihasthas. Among the Grihasthas, there are two categories. Of course, I have talked about one category, that Nivrutti Dharma. Those who want to attain liberation, what kind of principles they should follow, that I elaborately talked about in the previous two chapters, chapter 14 and chapter 15. That again is summarized at the end. And there are others who may not be, as of now, aspiring for liberation, but still, even if they want to enjoy in this material world, they should follow pravritti dharma. They should not do sinful activities. Pravritti dharma is like the process recommended by the Vedic literatures, which tells you do this yajna, this vrata, this vow, this tapasya, this dana, so that you will be ascended to Pitraloka or Swargaloka. You will have a better standard of life. Even when you come back, also, you will take birth in a better family, aristocratic family, wealthy family. So you are better situated. Even to be better situated in this world, the Vedas are recommending so many prescriptions by following which one can live happily without being bound in this material world so much. Like that, all those things also talked about. And now, the concluding section of this entire chapter, we'll try to now in that discussion, the Pravritti Nivritti Marga only. Few more verses are remaining. Afterwards, Narada will tell one story. I think we have completed this section. Till what verse we have covered in the last class? Anybody remembers?
I think till 57, Prabhuji. We were on 57.
57. I suppose slides were showing 60. I think 15 and we have covered. 60 onwards we need to continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, 61 we had completed.
Yeah, 60, 61 we have completed. So will this like Nivritti Marga only being explained how one should conduct oneself in order to determine in the path of liberation. So this longer verse we have already covered. So datavo avyavitvat cha tanmatra vayairvina nasyurhi asati avayavaini asan avayavo antaha. Because the elements are only parts, they cannot exist without their sense objects, which are also parts. Since the whole universe and body is unreal, the elements and sense objects are also unreal. Here we have been saying that okay, there are some discussion about Paramanuvada and there is some discussion about Brahmavada, etc. etc. Those philosophies also, because the path of detachment, there are different philosophies. So some of the philosophies are briefly summarized here. Basically, for a Varnashrama duty follower, by following the path of Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga to attain liberation, the premise of their practice, their sadhana is treat this world as illusion. Though this world is not illusion, though this world is temporary reality, but one should treat this world as illusion so that one will not be attached to this world. One is always staying away, staying in a detachment mode from this world, so that one will be quickly on the path back to Godhead or on the path of liberation. So, in that context, some understanding of that Nirvisheshavada or Brahmavada philosophy and also Paramanuvada philosophy is kindly introduced little bit in these verses. Little technical. Last time also we kind of briefly gone through a little bit here and there. Don't worry so much. This is anyway not exactly in line with the bhakti. It is like some um, some additional information for those who are because we should have general understanding of everything. So that kind of additional information is there. So we'll not discuss so much elaborately. So we stopped, I think, with 51. But how does the perception that elements are real arise? So basically, he says that the Paramanuvada, ultimately, the entire universe is made by the combination of Paramanus. But Paramanu itself is invisible. But the combination of a number of Paramanus becomes the molecules and atoms, all these things and all, they become visible. So now tell me, the basic element is not invisible. The gross matter is visible. Is it real or illusion? When something is not visible, in the bracket, it is illusion, is not existing. But its combination is becoming visible. That which is visible is actually real or not? Because the source is invisible. It means illusory. The effect is visible. So effect is real. How can a real object will come from illusory object? So this is like applying the nyaya, applying the logic and reasoning they try to establish. So though the manifest world is real, it is visible to us, we are relating to it, but still philosophically one should treat it as illusion, because the source of this manifest world is illusion. So like that. So that is what is given. So that's how it is explained in this. Now we'll continue with the. So 61 also he kind of says that sat sadrishya brahmastavat vikalpe sati vastuna jagrita swapnau yata swapne tata vidhi nishedata. Same way, just like in the dream time, we see illusory objects but consider them to be real. But when we get up, we understand that they are illusory. Same way, currently we are in a daydreaming. In the daydream, we are interacting with so many objects and they are all real for us. But when this dream ends, they all will be understood to be illusory. So while you are in the dream only, treat them as illusory. That will help one on the path of detachment and the path of liberation. It's like that. So take two dreams. One is night dream and daydream. What is night dream? In the night dream, when you are in the dream, the object seems to be real. But when you come out of the dream, the object become illusory. Same in the daydream, all the objects seems to be real. When you come out of the dream, the objects become illusory. So while you are in the dream, treat them as illusory. That is a deduced point. Because anyway, after you come out of the dream, you will know that they are illusory. So why anyway you know that they are going to become illusory. Treat them illusory now only. So this is one of the premise point for the Jnana Yoga. There is one shloka about bhakti comes 6 times in the entire Bhagavatam. That is Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajita Janati Ash Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Idayatukam. This is the bhakti principle. It comes for 6 times throughout the Bhagavatam. For Jnana principle, one verse comes for 5 times. That says that, abhi dekho, this world is like you are in a daydream. Just like in a night dream, when you get up, the dream objects are all illusory. You understand that. Same way, understand that all the objects which you are interacting with in your daydreaming is illusory, and treat them with like that. When you treat them as illusory, you are not bound. When you treat them as real, you will be bound. Sapna drashtur ivanjasa. Treat this entire world, your current life, as a sapna. Only that will help you not to have samsara further in this world. That is the basic principle, basic premise for the jnana practice. So this is on the path of renunciation, nivritti marga. This kind of basic understanding one should have based on Paramanuvada and based on Brahmavada. Like that. Ultimately, Brahman is reality. This material world should be treated as illusory because it is temporary. It is real only, but since it is temporary, we should treat it as illusory like that. So now, the philosophy of Advaita is made firm by teaching about the 3 states of perception. This is explained in 4 verses. Now, the future verses 62 to 65 will talk about Advaitavada. Previously, it was talked about Paramanuvada. Now, that is Vaisheshika. Now, Advaitavada will be explained. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, the previous verse, the verse 61, like you were explaining, that treat this material world as a dream, and how in the dream it is all illusory. But when one is seeing the dream, that time he is completely one with that reality, whatever is been seen, even though it may be illusory. That is why he can experience it as whatever means good dream or bad dream, whatever. Similarly, in the material world, because we, even though it is illusory, we are so become one with it. That is why we can experience it, whatever the experiences are. So how to treat it as a dream, Prabhuji? Because unless we become one with the reality, what is in front, it doesn't. Then we will not be able to experience anything if we can perceive it as a dream. Like
See, the Advaitavada teaches one from the very first day like this only. Treat this world as a dream. Because they treat this world as a dream, that's why they can easily take into Vanaprastha sannyas orders. And we in Bhakti, that is not being taught to us. In Bhakti, we don't learn and we don't hear and we don't teach that treat this world as illusory. We say that this world is Lord's creation, it is meant for Lord's enjoyment. The Bhakti principle is different from the Jnana principle. Bhakti principle is this is Lord's world, it does not belong to us, it is meant for his enjoyment. And we should accept Mahaprasad. That is Bhakti.
okay. Because Prabhuji, even though we know at a theoretical level that this is everything is temporary, even if not illusory, also it is temporary, and our existence in the material world itself is for a short while. But still, like we experience so many griefs and so many means happiness or grief in such a intensity because we have become so one with that impermanent reality. Na? That is why.
No,
Otherwise, we will.
it's not like that. See, we have started Bhakti very recently. Our attachment to this world was there from millions of lifetimes. We are hearing theory only. Maybe last couple of decades we might be hearing all this theory. But the theory to become realization, it will take some time. It is not a overnight process. Of course, it can also become overnight if one is as such can determine it. In spite of hearing all these things, still our attraction to enjoy this material world will not go away. We may be hearing, we may be giving big lectures, we may be speaking big philosophical points, but attraction to this material world will not go away. It is very difficult because we speak because we have to speak, but we are not speaking to ourselves. We are speaking to others only. I mean, at least this is my understanding.
Yes, very true, Prabhuji. Because if for others we have to explain something, we take help of this theory. But when it comes to own self, if you are burning, then that time, even though that theory you know, but to apply it effectively, it becomes very difficult. And then it feels like, that what is the use? We are learning so much, still we are not able to apply it properly. That is how.
Because conditioning is so strong. We every day we recite that Amanina Manadena. That time we contemplate on that Amanina Manadena. We say immediately Pancha Kalpatarubhasya. But test of the day, if some devotee does something here and there, immediately we become angry, we shout at them, this, that. If somebody slightly disrespects us, that's all. We don't even look at that person for the entire life.
Yeah, very true. And hankerings also means even though we say that no, we don't want, but there are still material hankerings, and then it gives the proof that how means at least I'm talking for myself that means to go back it is a long way because still we are attached to so many things like that.
That's the only problem. It's not long way. As long as we have attachment, we will never progress.
Yeah, that's all.
That removing attachment can be 1 second process only, but we are not ready for that. It's like our Radha Gopinath Prabhu tells always one point. Maya never catches anybody. We say that Maya bound binding us. We say always Maya does not bind anybody. Actually, we are embracing Maya.
Hmm.
We don't want to give up that. That is the problem. We ourselves voluntarily embracing Maya and we are bound by Maya. It is up to us to give up that embrace and become free from Maya. But we don't want to do that. That is our unfortunate situation. The reason is we have not tasted the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. We have only have the taste of matter and we are still sticking onto it. In the name of prasad, in the name of bhakti, we still trying to enjoy the matter only. Because we have now not tasted the spirit. When we really get the taste of spirit, then we may lose interest in the matter. I mean, this is like one way we can think. I'm thinking like that.
Yeah, very true. Because to really we become indifferent to the reality around, it is a long way. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we will move on. We'll see the remaining verses. We'll conclude this canto today. So, very nice occasion. Now, the philosophy of Advaita is made firm by teaching about the three states of perception. This is explained in 4 verses, 62 to 65. Bhavadvaitam Kriyadvaitam
भावा अद्वैतम क्रिया अद्वैतम
Dravyadvaitam Tatatmanaha
द्रव्या अद्वैतम तथा आत्मना
Vartayan Swanubhute Bhutyeha
वर्तयन् स्वानुभूतेया
Trin Swapnan Dunute Munihi.
स्वप्नादुनते मुनिः. Translation. After considering the oneness of existence, activity and paraphernalia, and after realizing the self to be different from all actions and reactions, the mental speculators, Muni, according to his own realization, gives up the 3 states of wakefulness, dreaming, and sleep.
The sage contemplating the non-difference of objects, actions, and destroy the 3 states of ignorance concerning the objects, concerning the actions, and concerning the conceptions by his realization of Atma. Even I also don't understand what it is, what it means. Let us see the notes, what exactly is meant, Narada Muni is meant to say. So, contemplating on the non-difference of the object. This is Advaita, na? In one sense, Sarvam Kalam Idam Brahma, everything is manifestation of Brahman. In that sense, seeing the non-difference between the matter and spirit. The matter is expansion of spirit. So, both are non-different. So, in terms of objects, in terms of activities, in terms of conceptions, understanding them as equal. So, this is possible. One destroys the 3 states of ignorance: waking, sleep, dreaming, and sleep, deep sleep, by the realization of Atma. So, let us see what it means. Considering non-difference in thought, action, and objects with the self by realization of Atma, the sage destroys differences in the form of 3 types of sleep. One sleep is thinking of differences between the objects. So one kind of ignorance is seeing the difference in the objects. A object alage, O object alage. The second sleep is thinking of different activities for a differently qualified person. So Brahman is doing Brahmanical activities, Kshatriya is doing Kshatriya activities, Vaishya is doing Vaishya activities, Shudra is doing Shudra activities. Yes, abalage. So one may see objects are different. So this is stone, this is mud, this is wood. So like that, we may see difference in objects. So we may see difference in activities of different people, different occupations. The third sleep is thinking that what I receive as a result of action belongs to me. तो ब्राह्मण ने ब्राह्मण काम किया, उनको ब्राह्मणिकल रिजल्ट मिलेगा. क्षत्रिय क्षत्रिय काम किया, क्षत्रिय रिजल्ट मिलेगा. वैश्य वैश्य काम किया, वैश्य रिजल्ट मिलेगा. Like that, seeing them as different. Now one point I am understood that, see, while being in this material world, we may be doing different activities. Brahman may do Brahmanical activities, Kshatriya may do Kshatriya activities, Shudra may do Shudra activities, Vaishya may do Vaishya activities. But if they are on the path of renunciation, they are on the path of detachment and the path back home, back to Godhead, ultimately at the end, one will attain liberation. So now, the end result is liberation for a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. While in the material world, we may see, Brahmana is doing Brahmanical activity, Kshatriya is doing Kshatriya activity, Vaishya is doing Vaishya activity, Shudra is doing Shudra activities. So these activities are different. But though activity is different, but all these activities are meant to take one to liberated state. So liberation is same for everyone. There will be no distinction in the liberation. So then, a person on the path of liberation, just like he sees in the liberated state, everyone is equally situated. Similarly, while doing their practices also, one should not see the differences. Not seeing the differences. Oh, no problem. You are doing Brahmanical activity, but meant for liberation. So that means you are doing liberation activity. You are doing Kshatriya activity, but for liberation. So you are doing Kshatriya liberation activity. So see the different activities to be same, because the end goal of all the activities is liberation. All the activities are aimed at liberation. Externally they may be different, but the purpose is same. So they all become Advaita. The objects become Advaita. Activities become Advaita. And what is the third one? The conceptions, the understandings also become Advaita. So this is Advaita Vada. Based on the goal, we have to treat the current situation. That means ultimately, don't worry about the distinction. Focus on the goal. If everyone's goal is one, the distinction is immaterial. So everyone is working for that goal means everyone is doing the same activity. That is called Advaita. There is no distinction among the activities, there is no distinction among the people, among the objects, and among the thought processes. That makes Advaita. ಕಾರ್ಯಕಾರಣ ವಸ್ತ್ವೈಕ್ಯ
कार्यकारणवस्त्वैक्य
ದರ್ಶನಂ ಪಟತಂತುವತ್
दर्शनं पटतन्तुवत्
ಅವಸ್ತುತ್ವಾದ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪಸ್ಯ
अवस्तुत्वाद्विकल्पस्य
ಭಾವಾದ್ವೈತಂ ತದುಚ್ಯತೆ.
भावाद्वैतं तदुच्यते. Translation. When one understands that result and cause are one and that duality is ultimately unreal, like the idea that the threads of a cloth are different from the cloth itself, one reaches the conception of oneness called Bhavadvaita.
Same thing which we discussed just now. Non-difference of the conception means seeing the effect and the cause as one. Effect is liberation. Cause is one's varnashrama duties. Like that. Just like threads related to a cloth, since all these are unreal, arising from misconception. Again the misconception came, unreal concept came. That means the duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, we are doing aiming at liberation, but after liberation these duties have no meaning. That's why they should be treated as illusory. One should do the duty, well, one is duty bound, but in the core of the heart they should treat these are not reality. So reality is Brahman, I need to go to Brahman. So like that. One considers effect and cause to be one. Thread is not the cloth. Thread is the cause and cloth is the effect, but can be seen as one with it. See now, when all the threads are individually, they are there. Red thread, white thread, yellow thread, blue thread. They are individual. We may see they are all different. A white, a red, a yellow. But what is the use of saying that white, red, yellow? Ultimately, they all are woven together and you get a cloth. Cloth is the ultimate result. Cloth will be one only. You can't say cloth. When they are woven in the cloth, you can't say this is red thread, white thread. No, no. Everything becomes one only. All the distinctions are no more valid now when you make the cloth. So like that. That is the understanding. So thread is not the cloth, but can be seen as one with it. Once all the threads are woven, you can't call them as threads. You have to call it as cloth only. That means here while practicing, one may be practicing Brahmanical duty, Kshatriya duty, Vaishya duty, and Shudra duty. So that time you may call them, A is Brahmana, is Vaishya, is Shudra, is Kshatriya, like that. But after liberation, you should not call them as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya are gone. Now they are no more useful. That you should treat them as illusory. Like that. Anyway, tomorrow after your liberation, they become illusory. So today only treat them as illusory and don't worry about the distinctions. So this is the understanding with which the jnani should be conducting himself and practicing the sadhana. There is oneness of the effect and cause of Prakriti. Thus, there is oneness. This is not Mayavada. This is actually Brahmavada. This is the Shastra recommended Brahmavada philosophy. Though the material world is real, but after liberation it is no more valid. That's why treat the material world while being in the material world also as illusory, so that to remain in the detachment it becomes easy. So like that. It is not like Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya philosophy. They should treat Jagat as Mithya, but Jagat is not Mithya. They understand that Jagat is not Mithya, but still it's like that. When it is thread, you may call it a thread, but when it becomes the cloth, you have to call it as a cloth. You should not call it as a thread. Thus, all the threads are meant to become cloth. Even when they are threads, don't treat them as the threads, but treat them as cloth. That is the philosophy. Thus everything becomes Advaita. There is no distinction. That is understood.
Hare
Hope
Krishna,
you are, yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, like I understood the analogy as an analogy itself. That means the threads are the cause and cloth is the effect. But how we are applying it for understanding this thing, that is a little confusing. You mentioned something about the varnas, different varnas and ashramas. They are like the thread, but ultimately the effect means how? Can you please explain it? Like it is a little difficult.
See, today we are doing our duties. Some of us may be Brahmana, some of us may be Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So don't see this as from devotional band. This is for Jnanis. Okay?
Okay.
When they are Grahastha, they are doing all these things. And ultimately tomorrow they all enter into Vanaprastha.
Okay.
They follow austerities. Eventually they take sannyasa, may not take sannyasa, but Vanaprastha says they will attain liberation. Now here, when they are Grahasthas, we may say, who is doing Brahmanical duty, so he is a Brahmana, he is a Kshatriya, he is Vaishya, Shudra. We may say that he is doing Brahmanical duty. But after they liberated, will you call him as Brahmana?
No.
So after liberation, you don't call him as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Therefore, even before they could attain liberation, when they are performing their do Varna and Ashrama duties while being as Grahastha here, don't call them as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Because they are on the path of liberation. Very soon, 1 year later, they enter into liberation state. After 1 year, you cannot call them as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So don't call them now also. That means don't see the distinctions in this world. Seeing the distinctions, because this distinction, whatever identity you have, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, they are going to end after 1 year. So after 1 year, they don't exist. That means they are also not existing today. Which does not exist eternally is not existing now also. That means even though it is real, but if it is temporary, we should treat it as illusory. Because that is the core philosophy of Brahmavada. Otherwise, you should say that since he is on the path of liberation, he should be treated as liberated already. He is already Brahman. Instead of calling as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishudra, you call him as Brahman liberated. Brahmabhuta, Brahmabhuta, Brahmabhuta. So like that. Because anyway, he's going to be liberated after 1 year. So अभी से बोलो उनको liberated हो गया करके. That is understanding. That is called Advaita.
Devotee, we should also treat the temporary reality as a illusory, like that. It should be understood.
As a devotee, how we treat, we should not treat. Devotee concept is different again. Devotees will not treat it as illusory. Devotees say, this is not mine, this is Krishna's. Devotees does not worry about temporary permanent. Wherever they are, everything belongs to Lord, everything is meant for Lord's enjoyment. I am not the owner, I am not the proprietor. Sarvasya chaham Rujisannivisto. Lord Krishna says that. Not Sarvasya chaham. What is that? Aham Sarvasya Prabho Mattam Sarvam Pravartate. Everything is Lord's creation, everything is Lord's. And nothing belongs to me. That is devotee's concept.
Okay. And
So
Prabhuji,
Jnanis will see this world as an illusory, it does not exist. Because tomorrow it is not existing, so today also it is not existing. Whether they say. For devotees, oh hey, but mera nahi. Oh, kisi aur ka property hai. I don't have any right to use it for me.
yeah, understood, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, one more thing, like this Varnas, Nam, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, like that, they are applicable only in Grihastha because after taking Vanaprastha or Sannyasa, who was one in the previous, means in which ashram, that will not matter much.
Yeah, it will not matter. That means there also you are getting trained that you should not see any differences. So that's what. Anyway, of liberation they are not valid. Anyway, in sannyasa they are not valid. Anyway, in vanaprastha they are not valid. Why you are giving so much value to it in the grihasthashram? That is the understanding.
Okay, so these ashramas which are being mentioned in the scriptures, they are applicable only during brahmacharya and grihastha like that it should be understood.
No. Even other latest years it's valid. But see, from the external dealing point of view, one may say all those things. But they themselves, those who are on the path of liberation, they should not be so much worried about all these external designations. They should only worry about liberation.
Okay. Okay.
Others will designate them. Others will call them. Okay, sannyasi, they offer respect. Is vanaprastha, they offer respect. So others will treat. Others will consider him to be sannyasi, vanaprastha. But they themselves should not be so much worried about I am sannyasi, I am vanaprastha. Listen, I want supposed to go to learn liberation. They should be focused on liberation.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
We also like same philosophy of Mahaprabhu. What Mahaprabhu says? Naham vipro na chanarapatir napi vaishyo na shudro. I am not Brahmana, not Kshatriya, not Vaishya, not Shudra, not a Brahmachari, not a Yati, not a Vanaprastha, not a Grahastha. Who am I? Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa. Same philosophy. We also have.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Understood.
Yeah. Because bothered by all these distinctions, this, that, is the cause of bondage. Because when you start doing distinctions, you are Brahmana, Kshatriya means I am Brahmana, everyone should respect me. I am Kshatriya, everyone should respect me. वो आते वो अमानना मानदेना principle will be cut by these distinctions.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you. You explained very nice.
यद ब्रह्मणि परे साक्षात्
यद् ब्रह्मणि परे साक्षात्
सर्वकर्मा समर्पणम्
सर्वकर्म समर्पणम्
मनोवाक् तनुभिः पार्थ
मनोवाक्तनुभिः पार्थ
क्रियाद्वैतं तदुच्यते.
क्रियाद्वैतं तदुच्यते. Translation. My dear Yudhishthir Partha, when all the activities one performs with his mind, words, and body are dedicated directly to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one reaches oneness of activities called Kriya Advaita.
My dear Yudhishthira, when all the activities one performs with mind, words, and body, manasa, vacha, karmana, are dedicated directly to Brahman, it is called oneness of action. Why same thing? Brahmanas are doing Brahmanical activity, Kshatriya is doing Kshatriya activity, Vaishya is doing Vaishya activity, Shudra is doing Shudra activities. But if they are doing their activities to attain liberation, all their activities are Brahman activities. You should not call them as Brahmanical activities, Kshatriya activities. Instead, you should call them as Brahman activities. Brahmani Adaya Karmani. They are performing their respective activities in which they are trained in order to attain Brahman. So such kind of activities are Brahman activities. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmana, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. every activity becomes Brahma karma. It's like that. When it is meant for attaining liberation. So that is called Advaita. One should offer all actions of mind, words, and body to Brahman, since one will perceive difference in action by seeing different results. One should offer everything only to the Lord, then there are no different results. This is oneness of action. Why they are doing all these activities? To attain liberation. If the result is same, how can the activities will be different? Their logic is, if result is different, then you say action is different. But if result is same for everyone, then activity also should be called as same activity. That activity is called as Brahma karma. But if result is different, then you should call them different results. Like if a Brahmana performs a marriage ceremony, if the result is Dakshina, that is Brahmanical activity. That activity should be called as Brahmanical activity. You cannot call it as Brahma karma. Because the result is not Brahman, but the result is Dakshina. So that is Brahmanical activity. When a king rules the kingdom, he collects the taxes. This activity is Kshatriya activity. It is not Brahma karma. Because there is a result coming in the form of taxes. So like that. Based on the effect, the cause should be designated. So like that is understanding. Atmajaya sutadinam
Atmajaya sutadinam
Anyesham sarvadehinam
Annesham sarvadehinam
Yasvartakamayoraikyam
Yat Swarthakamayor Aikyam
Dravyadvaitam taduchyate.
Dravyadvaitam Taduchyate. When the ultimate goal and interest of one's self, one's wife, one's children, one's relatives, and all other embodied living beings is one, this is called Dravyadvaita or oneness of interest.
When the ultimate goal and interest of oneself, one's wife, one's children, one's relatives, and all other embodied living beings is one, this is called oneness of objects. Yeah. You want to attain liberation, your wife want to attain liberation, your children want to attain liberation, your friends want to attain liberation, your entire country want to attain liberation. That means entire country is all liberated. In the liberated state, there is no distinction. So right now also there is no distinction. That is called Dravya Advaitam. Here Dravya we can take it as the body. Because who is wife, who is child? They have a body, the distinction based on the Dravya. You have one body, they have another body, somebody else has some other body. So these are all Dravya only. The body is made up of 24 elements, that is Dravya. Our home is Dravya. Other objects are Dravya. So like that. One should see oneness of one's own sadhana and its goals are enjoyment with those of one's wife, sons, and others who are not related. Since they are all made of 5 elements, and since all jivas are one in being the enjoyer. हमारा सबका body made up of same 5 elements only. But normally in our conventional existence, we treat everyone, all of us different. Oh, he is a wife, husband, uncle, aunt, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, son, daughter. Like the distinction we see always. But when one is on the path of liberation, after 1 year anyway, they are going to get liberated. So today onwards, we should treat them as good as liberated. In advance only, we should treat them as liberated. That is called Dravya Advaitam. So like this is Advaita philosophy. Even while practicing only, they should be understood as liberated. And they should be respected accordingly. Without seeing any distinction. Because in the liberation state, there is no distinction between one Atma and other Atma. All are Atmas only. वहां पे कोई distinction like Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishyudra, distinction like male, female, distinction like wife, husband, child, like that, such kind of things won't exist in the Brahman platform. So like that. यद्यस्या वा निषिद्धं स्यात्
यद्यस्य वा निषिद्धं स्यात्
येन यत्रायतो नृपा
येन यत्र यतो नृपा
सा तेनेहेत कार्याणि
सतेनेहेत कार्याणि
नरो नान्यैरनापदि
नरो नान्यैरनापति. In normal conditions, in the absence of danger, O King Yudhishthira, a man should perform his prescribed activities according to his status of life with the things, endeavors, process, and living place that are not forbidden for him, and not by any other means.
So with this mentality, one should execute one's duties. Like that, Narada Muni is saying. With the Dravyadvaitam, Karyadvaitam, and then Bhavadvaitam. These three should be always thought about. And with that thought, one should execute one's duties, one's Varnashrama duties, especially Gruhasta Dharma, because the chapter is about Gruhasta. So in that way. O King, in the absence of danger, a man should perform one's prescribed activities according to his status of life, with articles, means, place, and cause that are not forbidden for him, and not by any other means. So, unless until there is emergency, there is apatkal, in a normal state of life, if one is a Brahmana, use all the Brahmanical articles and perform one's duties. If one is a Kshatriya, use all the Kshatriya articles and perform your duties. And if you are Shudra, use Shudra articles and perform your duties. Like that. So, but in the core of your heart, the conceptions are Bhavadvaita, Karyadvaita, and Dravyadvaita. That should be the internally moved. The conduct of the ashramas is now summarized. Yat refers to items not forbidden. Yena refers to the method, and Yata refers to the reason. Same way, a Brahmana should not use Kshatriya items, Kshatriya instruments, and Kshatriya items, and Kshatriya should not use Vaishya items, because he is trained in that. Use your objects and do it nicely, and that will lead to liberation. Sadharma Nidhanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. So, even though if there are some contamination, impurities in one's own sadharma, but that will lead to liberation. If one may think that paradharma is very easy to perform, even if you perform, that will never lead to liberation. That's why one should not use others' articles. Instead, one should use the articles which are not for one's varna and ashrama. Even though they may be having some impurities, not a problem. Because they are connected to one's swadharma, they lead one to liberation. Like that. Like for a Kshatriya, like Bhagavad Gita, if you see, Lord Krishna says, for a Kshatriya, fighting war leads to liberation. Even though it involves in killing so many people. So, the Kshatriya being a soft-hearted person may think that why should I kill all these people so much for the sake of kingdom? No, Lord Krishna says, not for the sake of kingdom, but for the sake of liberation, you kill them. It's like that. A Kshatriya killing all the warriors lead him to liberation. A Brahmana killing Ashwa in the Ashwamedha Yajna lead him to liberation. It's like that. They have impurities. A compassionate heart will never want to kill, but your duty demands it. When you, even though impurity is there, but doing that, you will attain liberation. By not to doing that, one will be bound in this material world. That is the nature of the duties in this world. It is like that. So Narada Muni is concluding the topic. Last two verses. Eterannyaischa vedoktair
एतेन अन्यश्च वेदे
vartamana sakarmabhi
वर्तमाना स्वकर्मभिः
गृहेऽपि अस्य गतिं यायात्
गृहे अपि यस्य गतिं यायात्
राजं तद्भक्तिभान् नरा.
Rajanstatad Bhakti Naram. O king, one should perform his occupational duties according to these instructions as well as other instructions given in the Vedic literature, just to remain a devotee of Lord Krishna, just even while at home, one will be able to reach the destination.
O king, if a person worships the Lord with devotion, though he remains in the house, he can attain Krishna by performing his prescribed duties according to what has been said here and according to other Vedic literatures. So, the previous verse talks about for those who are aspiring for liberation, the traditional Varnashrama system practitioners, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and then liberate Sahajya Mukti. For them, they need to do their Varna duties properly without looking into other Varna's duties because that will lead them liberation. Now, on the other hand, for the Mishra Bhaktas, for the Sadhana Bhaktas, whatever articles, whatever facilities they have in their own home, they should perform devotional service using all those articles. The process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and Archanam, etc. This is the main thing that we do, especially Archanam. In the sake of Archanam, whatever we have at our disposal, use them in the service of the Supreme Lord and accompany that Archanam with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. That will, because these things are mentioned in the Bhagavatam also, they are also mentioned in other Puranas or other Vedic literatures also. No problem. One has to follow. That following will lead them to Supreme Lord, spiritual world. So this verse is somewhat like for the sadhana bhaktas. The subject is concluded. If one is a householder and worship the Lord, he can attain Lord Krishna. So like that. Yata hi yuyam drupadeva duschajat.
यथा हि यूयं नृपतेव दुस्त्यजाद्
आपद गुणादुत्तरतात्मना परप्रभो.
आपद्गुणाद् उत्तरतात्मनः प्रभो
यत्पादपङ्के रुहसेवया भवान्.
यत्पादपङ्केरुहसेव्यया भवान्
आहारशी निर्जितदिग्गजकृतौ क्रतून्.
आहारसिन्निर्जितदिग्गजक्रतुम्. O King Yudhishthira, because of your service to the Supreme Lord, all of you Pandavas defeated the greatest dangers posted by numerous kings and demigods. By serving the lotus feet of Krishna, you conquered great enemies who were like elephants, and thus you collected ingredients for sacrifice. By his grace, you may be delivered from material involvement.
Just as you overcome the greatest dangers by service to your Lord, and just as you are able to gather the articles for the sacrifice after conquering the four directions by serving the Lord's lotus feet, other devotees also can serve the Lord. See, now just now Rajashekha is completed. The Pandavas have overcome so many difficulties. First of all, they have escaped from the burning of the lakh house. They have been wandering from forest to forest. During that wanderings, the Pandavas had to fight with two demons. Bhima had to kill Hidimba and he had to kill in Ekachakra. What was the demon name? Vrukasura, I suppose. Vrukasura. So they have to kill two powerful demons. They are like they cannot be. No one could kill them. Somehow Bhima, by the mercy of Lord Krishna, killed them, and they have to endure so many hardships, wandering from one village to other village, one forest to other forest. For 6 years they wandered. Finally, they got married to Draupadi. There also in that Swayamvara, they have to win a tough competition. Arjuna. After the competition is over, they have to fight with all the warriors who came for Swayamvara. And eventually, when they are about to get married to Draupadi, again Kauravas came with a huge army to fight against Drupad. The Pandavas had to fight and defeat them. Like unprepared for war, they have to fight. So like that. Afterwards, when they came back to Hastinapur, they were given barren land. They went there. They have to fight with devatas for that burning of the Kandava Prastha. Then they have to construct slowly, develop the big city there, and they have to go in four directions, conquer all the kings, and then perform Rajasuya sacrifice. All these things they could do it by taking shelter of the Lord, by the guidance of the Lord, by the mercy of the Lord and devotees. Like that, any other person can do it. Like that, Narada Muni is telling. What you have done, anybody can do. But provided if they take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavan alone, the common goals of all the ashramas, as explained in the last 5 chapters, is the goal of the pure devotees. Ultimately, the last 5 chapters were talking about Varnashrama system. The ultimate goal is Sahajya Mukti. But Sahajya Mukti is also Bhagavan only. Bhagavan's another feature is Brahman. So that same Bhagavan alone, who is the end goal of the 4 Varnas and 4 ashramas, is also the goal of pure devotees, both sadhaka and siddha. However, the Lord appearing directly to the siddhas throws the siddhas into the whirlpool of both bliss and danger in order to make them dance in the waves of his prema. The Siddha Bhaktas, like Prahlad Maharaj, is Siddha Bhakta. So he is experiencing bliss, he is also put into danger. But even though in the midst of danger, he never missed his bliss. Even in the danger also, he was simply remembering the Lord, he was experiencing bliss. The dangers are like the whirlpools. So for a person who closed his eyes, whether whirlpool is happening or what is happening, it does not make any sense. So like that. Even for Siddha Bhakta, like Prahlad Maharaj, he is always in bliss, whether in the normal condition or in the difficult condition. Like that. In all cases, however, just as he makes arrangement for them, they act according to the proper conduct and worship him at all times. So Prahlad Maharaj is the proof, and Pandavas are also proof. Whatever difficulty they have gone through, but they never gave up the shelter of Lord's lotus feet. They are also similar to Prahlad. You, the Pandavas, overcome insurmountable dangers involving kings and devatas by serving the lotus feet of the Lord through meditation and other process. So Raju sacrificed so many kings, and Kanda Prastha all the devatas. So like that. Just as you gathered articles for the service for the sacrifices by serving the Lord, so Ugrasena and others also served the Lord. Previously, Yudhishthira had said he was just a householder, ignorant of spiritual life. Madrusho Gruha Mudadi. Out of humility, he might have said like that. But even though being a Grahastha, he did all the efforts to serve the Lord properly. So they overcome all the difficulties by taking shelter of the Lord. So like that. But one should not think that the Pandavas are amongst the regular householders. That is indicated by this verse. Even though Yudhishthira Maharaj may say that I am Mudadi, I am a fallen householder. But Narada Muni did not consider Pandavas to be a fallen householder. Instead, Yudhishthira Maharaj considered Pandavas to be pure devotees. He put them on the level, at least in this from 7th canto point of view, just like Prahlad Maharaj, similarly the Pandavas. Both of them went through difficulties by taking shelter of the Lord. They came out victorious. It's like that. Both of them are pure devotees. You may say about yourself that I am fallen grasta, but Narada Muni not saying that. The devotees will act as the Lord instructs after attaining bhakti through fortunate association with other devotees. This instruction is the essence of the scriptures. The devotees will act as the Lord instructs in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam after attaining bhakti through the fortunate association with other devotees. Ado Shraddha Tata Sasvanga Tata Bhajanas Kriya. This instruction is the essence of the scriptures. Dharman Santajya Ya Sarvan Mam Bhajeta Satu Sattama. A person who understanding good and bad aspects of dharma as taught by me gives up all his duties and simply worships me is the best of all. The understanding is that as long as one is a grasta, one performs all the household orders, and eventually one realizes that even the grasta activities are a cause of bondage. Apparently, at the basic level, they are all good for one's maintenance, for one's purification, and all is there. But there is a chance that grihastha activities can tempt one to become attracted to enjoy the results of grihastha ashram. There is a possibility that that can bind, because this possibility is there. Ultimately, one should see them as faulty, give them up, and engage in Ananya Bhakti 24/7. So, Narada Muni is telling this point. This may not be prematurely, but one day one should come to this point. This is basically renunciation. For the regular traditional varnashrama, anyway they are taking renunciation. Officially, they are taking into entering into vanaprastha sannyasa, giving up all the household duties. And a devotee may not do officially, but at least virtually one should do. Virtually one should give up all the attachment, attraction to all the worldly duties and completely engage in spiritual activities. May not be prematurely, but at the time of retirement. So like that. That way we have to understand. ज्ञाननिष्ठो विकारो वा मद्भक्तो वानपेक्षका सलिंगानाश्रमं त्यक्त्वा चरेदविधिगोचरान्. How? What else Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita? A person fixed in jnana and detachment from external objects, or my devotee. Jnana means jnanis, detachment means Ashtanga yogis, devotee is bhakta, who is detached even from the desire for liberation. Both should reject the ashrama duties based on external rituals or paraphernalia and conduct themselves beyond the range of rules and regulations. Whether one is in traditional vanaprastha practicing Nishkama Karma Yoga, if they want to attain liberation, they have to give up Nishkama Karma Yoga, that means household duties, enter into vanaprastha and sannyasa and practice seva ashlesh to go back to Godhead, attain liberation. Similarly, a Gruhasta also one day should give up the Gruhasta duties and completely engage in Ananya Bhakti. Performing Gruhasta duties means Mishra Bhakti. It is called Karma Mishra Bhakti. But one day one should become Ananya Bhakta, that means without any Grihastha duties. Like that. Oh, one may ask how to do it. कैसे possible होगा? The simple understanding is that doing Grihastha duty means putting one's heart and also making plans, this, that, and all. So one day when one is renounced, one should not be engaged in actively in Grihastha duties because they are already old. It becomes the responsibility of their children to provide their basic necessities like food, clothing, shelter, and all. They don't have to worry about food, clothing, shelter, so they don't have to do any household responsibilities, household duties. So after one age, they should be able to sustain with bare minimum necessities of life so that they can engage 24/7 bhakti activities. And that bare minimum also can be given by their dependents. Till now, they were taking care of their children. Now it is the responsibility of their children to take care of them so that they can practice bhakti sincerely in their fag end of their life so that they can go back to Godhead. This is how it is a mutual cooperative system. That's how we can see for devotees. For traditional varnashrama, they take vanaprastha and sometimes they go to forest. They don't depend on family members only. But nowadays devotees may not do that. So this should be done. So like that. Thus the devotee is taking instructions of the Lord as proof. Do not depend on the rules of varnashrama conduct. Narada explained this in terms of his previous birth in 5 verses. Now Narada Muni talks about his own example. I say, if we are too attached to our own respective ashrama, varna duties, we will be bound in this material world. When we give up that designation, that attachment, we are liberated. तो उनका पूर्व जन्म का कुछ वृत्तांत चलता रहेगा. So any questions till now? You are able to
Correct.
follow?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are able to follow, but there's one small thing, Prabhuji, like you mentioned that till the time one is in the Gruhasta order of life, he's performing Mishra Bhakti. Like that, but like many lectures I have heard, Prabhuji, that means as a Gruhasta, if somebody is following the pure devotional path, so he may not have become a pure devotee as such, but his bija is of pure devotion. So because of his inertia of past, whatever abhilashas and things like that, he still may be desiring things. Means in action, it may not appear as a pure devotion, but the bija is of pure devotion, so it cannot be means termed as a Mishra devotion. That's what I have heard many times. So I'm confused.
I don't know. See, different devotees have different understanding. I, being the student of Balram Shakti Prabhu and being the regular reader of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore's commentary for Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, this is my understanding. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore puts the householders or brahmacharis or any varna. If we are practicing bhakti along with our varna duties, we will become Mishra Bhaktas. So, see,
Yeah.
English now we have problem. You are using the word pure devotee. Yeah, he can be a pure devotee, not a problem. But he is not Ananya Bhakta.
Yeah.
Ananya Bhakta is one who does not do anything else other than bhakti. Bhakti means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Patyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, and Padasevanam in between. Those who are doing only these 9 things is called Ananya Bhakta. Those who are doing anything else other than these things, they are called Mishra Bhakta. Both could be pure devotees. Ananya Bhakta is also pure devotee, he is also pure devotee because the intentions are pure. But he has to maintain the family, he need to do his Varnashrama duties.
Yeah, true, Prabhuji. Actually, Balram Shakti Prabhuji only usually tells this thing, that he may be means his because of the past inertia of whatever past false ego and all those things, he may be having some desires and doing some activities for the daily earning of bread and whatever. But still, if the bija is of pure devotion, then Mishra Bhakti, when we say Bhakti is mixed with jnana or karma or yoga like that, then we'll say Mishra Bhakti. But
That's what I'm saying. Bhakti is mixed with karma. A grahastha, to maintain his family, is doing some karma. Any duty in this world is called karma. You being a doctor, somebody being something else, I being a brahmachari, when I do my brahmachari seva services, that is karma. Of course, when I presented same thing in our brahmachari ashram, many devotees kind of objected me, right? But my friends and all. No, aisa nahi. Once you become a devotee, whatever you do, that is all bhakti only. That is not karma.
that's what he says. Means Balram Chakravarti always says that because with that earning, whatever you are going to do is the devotional activities. If you are going to maintain the family who are devotees, so it is all considered.
Yes.
In
I
devotion.
am not denying that. I also gave an example that Arjuna Pandavas, while they were kings, I said they are Mishra Bhaktas. But one thing, I made them clear that don't think that they always remain as Mishra Bhaktas. Today, as a householder, they are acting as a Mishra Bhaktas, but tomorrow, after renunciation, they become Ananya Bhaktas. The being a Mishra Bhakta is not the eternal designation. It is a time-specific designation.
Because Prabhuji, like Ambarish Maharaj and all those great devotees who were in the order of life, but they were because they were assigned some duty, they were doing that. So they become Karma Mishra Bhakta just because they are following those duties.
No. Wait. Because somehow or other, because this point, wherever I go, I get this this kind of question by all the devotees. We think that Karma Mishra Bhakta means they are like very heinous and low condition like that. No, Karma Mishra Bhakta is also a pure devotee. It is nowhere a low situation. One is doing karma because he is in that situation is to karma. He is duty bound right now. His intention is not to enjoy the fruits of karma. He is doing karma to establish a ideal example. That does not reduce his position anyway, being a pure devotee, from being a pure devotee. I mean, that is my understanding, because in my discussions I will explain like that. Even I also heard whatever you have said. Balram Chit Prabhu says that many times. He says that nowadays you don't have to talk about varnashrama only, because no one knows what is varna. No one is following any varnashrama. His point is that there we used to have a big debates, big discussions, all our Vidyapit batch and Balram Chit Prabhu. How can, whether we should call varnashrama or not? The nowadays what's happening around us. Some say yes, some say no, but Balram Chit says no, we cannot call. No, varnashrama, because no one knows what is varna, what is ashrama. We cannot call varnashrama system now. So that is his point. So when there is no varnashrama, there is no karma only. Because in the varnashrama there is karma. So all our devotees, some of them are doctors, some of them are engineers, some of them are something else, professors, lecturers here and there. So because they don't have any varna, so they don't have any karma. So there is no karma Mishra Bhakti only. So whatever they are doing, that is all meant for practicing bhakti. So everything is bhakti only. That this is Balram Shakti Prabhu's way of explaining things. He says there is no designation of Karma Mishra Bhaktas right now. That is not valid, no more valid like that. He says.
Because Prabhuji, what you are explaining, it means what I have understood from that is like in action when we see it, it is appearing karma mishra bhakti. But in concept, if we go, then it is a pure devotion. That way, I
Yes,
can.
that's what I'm
concise.
saying. Even Karma Mishra Bhakti is also pure devotion. Your English term, you should be careful. I'm using Karma Mishra Bhakti and Ananya Bhakti. I don't use pure devotion. I never use the word pure devotion. Because both
No,
are pure
maybe
devotees only. Because their intention is pure, both are pure devotees. Ananya Bhakta is one who only does bhakti, does not do anything else. No worldly duties. And Karma Mishra Bhakta does worldly duties along with bhakti.
Prabhuji, like
Hare
when
Krishna,
we
Prabhuji.
say four types of devotion, we say karma, karma means path of karma, path of jnana, path of yoga, and path of bhakti. So path of
Okay.
bhakti means the pure devotion, which means what you are terming it as ananya bhakti, like that.
No.
Because
Wait. Both are pure devotees. Both falls in the category of what is that? Rupa Goswami's definition. What is that?
anyabhilashi darshan.
Both fall in Annavalasturam. This all our Gruhasta devotees, they don't have any this thing that I'm a big doctor, I'm this and that, I need to get big wealth. Not like that. Their intention is to go back home back to Godhead only. There is no Anya Abhilasha. Only Abhilasha is to go back to Godhead. But what they are doing is karma. Any worldly duty we do, at least this is my way of presenting things, that is karma. I am not denying that doing that karma is not at all contaminating, not at all binding. It is a bhakti karma only. But still we call, when you say karma, path of bhakti, in path of karma, there are again three aspects. One is vikarma, other one is sakama karma, a third one is nishkama karma yoga. So vikarma is sinful, purely sinful activities in the mode of ignorance and passion. In the mode of goodness at the basic level, they follow Shastra to fulfill their desires. They don't do sins. They follow Shastra strictly to fulfill their desires. They go to Swarga and enjoy better life. They take birth in aristocratic family, they enjoy happily. That is bona fide. Shastra only recommends that. But those who are on the higher order of the Sattva-guna, the first category Sakama Karmis are those who are following Dharmartha Kama. Now on the higher order, they are following moksha. They want to attain moksha. So when you say Nishkama Karma Yoga means the word yoga is bhakti. Nishkama Karma Yoga means Nishkama Karma Bhakti. Or it is called as Bhakti Mishra Karma. They are following their Varnashrama duties, especially the Gruhasta duties, with bhakti. That will lead them to renunciation. They eventually enter into Vanaprastha and then they practice Bhakti Mishra Jnana. And then they enter into sannyasa. Again, they practice Bhakti Mishra Jnana and they take shelter of Bhakti Mishra Yoga, give up this body and attain liberation. There is bhakti. When you use the word yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, yoga means bhakti. That becomes Bhakti Mishra karma, Bhakti Mishra jnana means bhakti is there, but bhakti is less than 50%. They are very much dedicated to perform their duties for the purpose of attaining liberation.
So, Prabhuji, what you are explaining from that perspective, one cannot become Ananya Bhakta or completely pure devotee unless one reaches to the stage
No,
of
no, again, see, don't use English. Your English is confusing.
what English? I don't understand what.
No, don't call pure devotee. Don't use pure devotee Ananya Bhakta like that. Karma Mishra Bhakta is also pure devotee, Ananya Bhakta is also pure devotee. Both are pure devotees. Ananya Bhakta is like leading a life like that of Goswamis. No designation of Varna, no designation of Ashrama. They are simply devotees only practicing bhakti activities. They are not worried about their own maintenance. Their own maintenance is the hectic headache of Lord Krishna. Lord
So
Krishna,
that
Srimati Radharani will take care of their maintenance, like Srivas Thakur, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami.
Yeah. Akinchana Gochara, like
Ah,
Kunti Devi says.
yeah.
so
Oh
Ananya
Bhagavan
Bhakta.
ka, oh Bhagavan ka headache. Ananya Bhakta means their maintenance of their body is Bhagavan ka headache.
So according to means what you're explaining, Prabhuji, Ananya Bhakti is the highest rung of the pure devotion. Like that
Yes,
we can.
yes. No. See, again, don't put categorization. Both are pure devotees only. Because their intentions are pure, they are pure devotees only. As long as you are in any one of the ashramas or varnas, you may be sannyasi also. You may be vanaprastha also. You may be gruhasta also. You may be brahmachari also. If you are gruhasta, our bhakti is. And if you are brahmachari or gruhasta, our bhakti is karma mishra bhakti. If we are in vanaprastha or sannyasa, our bhakti is jnana mishra bhakti. That ashram itself gives a tagline karma. Brahmachari and Grahastha has a tagline of karma. Vanaprastha sannyasi has a tagline of jnana. Whether we want it or not.
Why brahmacharis have tag of karma?
Because brahmachari is also like they are also working for Guru. They take care of the ashram, they maintain the ashram, they go on for begging out, something like that. That is also like karma. Okay.
I don't know. Means it is
See,
difficult
I'll
because
see.
we say
See.
Guru is not different than
No.
Krishna. So if they are working for Guru, how can it become a
See,
karma?
the problem is that you think karma means derogative. Karma means it is like look down, and karma means like something which is very to be kept at far. That is the problem. Many of our devotees have that problem. So they say these devatas are all Mishra Bhaktas, they are Karma Mishra Bhaktas, they are fallen like that. No, Karma Mishra Bhakti is the pure devotion. That is the very much Annamilashta Shunnam Jnana Karma Dhyanavardhan. The complete definition of Annamilashta Shunnam is Karma Mishra Bhakti. The problem is all of us somehow or other by our regular hearing of Krishna Kathas, all these things, the karma, the word itself is unpalatable to us. That is the problem. But anyway, leave it. Don't worry. What you understand, what you are convinced, that only you speak and that only you keep in your mind. Don't worry. You don't have to follow my this thing. Because I always speak like that. I cannot change now. Just because you are asking, I cannot
Hare
change.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, so if one has to rise to the platform of Ananya Bhakti, one has to take sannyas then.
No, again, sannyas also it is restricting it Jnana Mishra Bhakti only.
Because like Bhakti Vinod Thakur, like he was a Grihastha ashrami, and then in the later part of his life,
He became
tried-
Babaji. He became Babaji.
Yes.
He did not take
So
sannyasi.
then, so till he was practicing in his Grihastha ashram, he was Mishra Bhakta then. And after he took sannyas, then you can say that he practiced
Here
practiced
problem
Ananya
comes.
Bhakti.
If we say that they are Mishra Bhaktas, our devotee does not take it. When I said Pandavas when they are kings, I said they are Mishra Bhaktas. Karma Mishra Bhakta. Then our entire Brahmachari ashram was against me. How can you say, how dare you to say that Pandavas are from Karma Mishra Bhaktas?
But
Of course.
Prabhuji, when you are practicing in Gruhasta ashram, these people are performing Nishkam Karma Yoga.
No. They are not Nishkama Karmis. Again, you are confusing. Nishkama Karma Yoga means they are aspiring for Sahajya Mukti. Those who are aspiring Vaikunta, they are Karma Mishra Bhaktas. Nishkama Karma Yogi is Bhakti Mishra Karmi. 51% they are doing karma, 49% they are doing bhakti. So bhakti is secondary, their varna duty is first. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, that duty is first for them. For a devotee, उनके लिए bhakti is first. उनका duty is secondary. They are doing duty because they need to maintain themselves and they need to set a good example in this world. Further, they do their duty.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Gaurangas Prabhuji in Bhagavad Gita explanation has categorized into three types. Kevala Bhakti, where he talks about only Ananya Bhakti, Kinchana Bhakti, and Uttama Bhakti, which you have been talking
Yes.
about. And then he has also been talking about Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti, which is a mix with the tendency of karma, jnana, and yoga. But wherein the predominant is bhakti there, where karma yoga is lower. And then he
Yes.
talks about the Guna Bhuta Bhakti, where karma
Guni Bhuta
yoga.
Bhakti.
Yes. So, bhakti where the tendency, bhakti becomes secondary, but other things are prominent. So he is categorized. So we can map it to this. But
See,
then
I'll
you are
tell you.
explaining.
We have total 5 liberations.
Right.
Sayujya, Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sarupya. Okay. Those who are aspiring Sayujya Mukti, they are Guni Bhuta Bhaktas. So the Guni Bhuta Bhakta, we have 3 categories. Bhakti Mishra Karmis, Bhakti Mishra Jnanis, Bhakti Mishra Yogis. So basically they are Karma Yogis, Jnana Yogis, Ashtanga Yogis. They are called Guni Bhuta Bhaktas. They are aspiring Sayujya Mukti.
Yes.
They are the one category. Second category is Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. They are aspiring Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sarupya. For them, Bhakti is predominant. Bhakti is most important. But while they are in this world, in order to maintain themselves, they may do their respective duties according to their Varna and Ashrama. That's why they are called as Karma Mishra Bhakti. They are primarily they are practicing Bhakti only, but just to maintain them, they are also doing some household duties. If they are Vanaprastha Sannyasis, Jnana Mishra Bhakti and Yoga Mishra Bhakti. थोड़ा सा ज्ञान भी करेंगे, थोड़ा योग भी करेंगे. It's like that. Because if somebody is in Vanaprastha or Sannyasa, they have some rules and regulations to be followed. Sannyasa Dharma, Vanaprastha means some tapasya should be done. Tapasya means jnana.
Thank you.
Vairagya means yoga. Like that. See, these are like understood things. So then, Ananya Bhakti, third category. But Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, third one is what you said?
Kevala Bhakti.
Kevala Bhakti, not Kaivala Bhakti. Kevala Bhakti, only Bhakti. So from Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, this is pure Krishna Bhakti. Otherwise, we can say Raganuga Bhakti. Those who want to go to Goloka Vrindavan and become Krishna's eternal associate. The previous one is Vaikunta Mukti. In Vaikunta, Salokya, Sarishta, Samipya, Sarupya. Now this Kevala Bhakti is, at least from our Gaudiya Vaishnava commentaries, Kevala Bhakti is for all our Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu externally taken sannyasa, but before he could reach Jagannath Puri, Nityananda Prabhu broke the sannyas danda. After breaking the sannyas danda, he is no more sannyasi. Though externally he is in sannyasi vesha, but he is no more sannyasi for any of our Gaudiya Vaishnavas. He is beyond sannyas ashram now. That is Kevala Bhakti. I don't know. The same thing. This is about Vishnu Chakra Thakur's explanation of the Bhagavad Gita summary. But See, I also understand. That's why I don't say these things very often. Maybe once in a while I get to say, but that sometimes hurts the devotees' feelings and all. When we say that when a devotee is in household order and performing the household duties, if we call them as Karma Mishra Bhakta, they say, no, how can you say that? But technically speaking, they are actually intention point of view, they are as good as Ananya Bhaktas already. But what to do? Because they are in the world, they need to do worldly duties. That doing worldly duties calls the adjective karma. But we should not use, so that we should not harm the devotee sentiments. So they are also, we should call them Ananya Bhaktas, Pandavas, we should call Ananya Bhaktas. Like you gave the example of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yes, as long as he was judge, he was acting as judge, we should call him as Karma Mishra Bhakta, externally speaking. But the moment he gave up his duties, when he became Babaji, then he is now completely Ananya Bhakta or Kevala Bhakta. But the thing is just like when a Brahmana, while doing Brahmanical duties, because of that Karya Advaita, eventually after 1 year he is going to become liberated. Now we should not call him as a Brahmana. We should not see his duties as Brahmanical duties. Same way, even when a devotee today he is doing household duties like Bhaktivinoda Thakur doing his judge duty, Pandavas ruling the kingdom. But tomorrow anyway they are going to become Ananya Bhaktas. Today we should not call them as Karma Mishra Bhaktas. Today also we should call them as Ananya Bhaktas. Same logic we can apply to them also. For us to understand what do you mean by Karma Mishra Bhakta, to give an example, Karma Mishra Bhakta means Pandavas. Just like Pandavas, how they are completely 100% they are surrendered to Krishna, they are practicing bhakti only. But in order to help people practice bhakti, they are also taking care of the kingdom. They are doing karma only for the sake of doing karma, just to help others, not for their own enjoyment or anything like that. So that is the Pandavas are given as example of Karmishta Bhaktas, just to teach others how they should be conducting their household duties. Not to demean Pandavas, but to educate others, so that others will get benefit of seeing the example of Pandavas. But applying the Karya Advaita philosophy, even though Pandavas are doing household duty, they should not be treated as Karma Mishra Bhakta, they should be treated as Ananya Bhakta, because tomorrow they are going to become Ananya Bhaktas. So like that. So this is my understanding. This is how we have to designate. For teaching, we can call them as Karma Mishra Bhaktas, but ultimately tomorrow they are anyway Ananya Bhaktas. Today also in the core of their heart, they are already Ananya Bhaktas. We should respect them in all ways as Ananya Bhaktas. Okay? Hare Krishna. Time ho gaya?
Yes, Guruji.
So now the last point is that when even one is doing one's own household duties, one should be careful for what purpose one is doing. If one does these duties for the purpose of attaining liberation, one is never bound. If one does all these duties for the purpose of getting name, fame, recognition, profit, adoration, pujala, pratishtha, etc., one will be bound. I am the example for that. Like that, Narada Muni is going to talk about his previous life now in 5 verses. Let us quickly see last few verses. We'll quickly read through. Aham pura bhavam kaschid
Aham pura bhavam kashchid
Gandharva upabarhana
Gandharva upabanah
Namnatite mahakalpe
Namnatite mahakalpe
Gandharvanam susammata.
Gandharvanam susammata.
So
Translation.
I will read, Mataji, you don't worry.
Okay.
Long ago, in another lifetime of Brahma, I existed as the Gandharva known as Upabarhana and was respected by the other Gandharvas. Though here translation says that other lifetime of Brahma means in the previous day of Brahma. Just like in the first canto, we hear about Brahmana, that the son of a maid servant. So Just before that, this happened. Rupapeshala Madhurya
Rupapeshala Madhurya
Saugandhya Priyadarshana
Saugandhya Priyadarshana
Srinam Priyatamo Nityam
Srinam Priyatamo Nityam
Mattasva Puralampata.
Mattasva Puralampata.
So basically, in the previous day of Brahma, in his previous life, he was a Gandharva. His name was Upadavarhana, and all the Gandharvas respect him because Gandharvas are known to sing and dance. Gandharvas sing, Apsaras dance. So he had very good singing skills. That's why he was respected by everyone. I was friendly and had an attractive body which was fragrant and well formed, attractive to women. I was proud and enjoyed women in the Gandharva city. Because he was Gandharva, he would sing nicely. So he was attracted by the female companions, all the Apsaras, and not only sing nicely, his body also very beautiful to look at. So naturally, women will be attracted. So he was in the midst of women always. Ekada deva satre tu
एकदा देव सत्रे तु
गन्धर्वाप्सरसां
गन्धर्वाप्सरसां गणः
उपहूता विश्वशृग्भिर्
उपहुता विश्वश्रीभिर्
हरिगातोपगायने.
हरिगाथोपगायने.
So one day, the Gandharvas and Apsaras were invited by the Prajapatis to take part in a festival to glorify the Supreme Lord in an assembly of the Devatas. So Indra invited all the Devatas and all the great sages and all these people. So there, Indra requested everyone to sing the glories of Supreme Lord. Krishna Katha karo, और अच्छे से गाना के रूप में करो, something like that. So now everyone is singing. Now the turn of Narada Muni. So what is his name? Upaparahana. So his turn came. Aham cha gayam stadvidvan
Aham cha gayam stadvidvan
Sribi parivruto gataha
Tribihi parivruto gatha
Jnatva vishwasujastanme
Gyatva visrujan jastanme
Helanam she purojasa
Helanam she purojasa
Yahitvam shudratam asu
Yahi tvam shudratamashu
Nastasrir kritahelana.
Nashta Shri Krutahelana.
So knowing of this
Translation.
invitation, no, I'm going to knowing of this invitation, I went there singing surrounded by many women. Understanding that I was making offenses, the Prajapatis cursed me in anger. Basically, the invitation is to sing the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because Upabarhana was little bit became proud of his skill and his beauty, and he was surrounded by so many women. Instead of glorifying Lord, he was singing some fantasy songs to attract the woman who is around him. So he was singing some musical songs or some songs instead of singing Lord's glories, so that the woman can get attracted to him. That was he was doing. So when all the Prajapatis and all the Devatas understood what he was doing, instead of glorifying the Lord, he is glorifying beauty, the attraction between the men and women, that is glorifying. So because you have committed offense, you should immediately become a Shudra without beauty. So now there are two things. Glorifying bodily duty, glorifying material enjoyment is generally seen in the Shudra community. Other three communities are expected to be civilized because they are going through Upanayana ceremony, they are studying the Vedas. They should have understood the purpose of life. They should not be after material enjoyment. They should be on the path back home, back to Godhead. So that is general understanding of traditional system. So, in spite of being a Gandharva, in a ordinary place you may sing the songs glorifying the personal beauty. But you are in a assembly where everyone is glorifying the Supreme Lord. In that assembly, if you glorify yourself or one's own body and attraction between the male and female, this is the activity of Shudras. You don't fit to be a Gandharva. You become Shudra. Because what you are doing, that is activity of Shudras, better do it. Because you have committed offense, you should immediately become a Shudra without beauty. and you are so much proud about your beauty, you take birth without any beauty. They cursed. Knowing about this invitation, I also went and singing in an intoxicated way. Tavadyasyam aham jajne.
Continue, Matu.
No, you continue. Nobody was saying so.
Tavadasyamaham jajne
Tatrapi brahmavadinam
tatrapi brahmavadina
sushrushayanusangena
shushrushayanushankena
praptoham brahmaputratam.
praptoham brahmaputratam.
So thus being cursed by the Prajapatis, I took birth as a Shudra from the womb of a maid servant. By engaging repeatedly in the service to Vaishnavas who were well versed in Vedic knowledge, Brahmavadis, I became the son of Lord Brahma. So basically, after he heard the curse from the Prajapatis, he realized he made a big mistake. So he immediately begged forgiveness from all the Prajapatis and all the Devatas. They said, okay, don't worry. You become Shudra without beauty, whatever it is, but because you became remorseful, you will have natural attraction for Lord Hari. By the association of great devotees, you will attain your original position. Like that, they kind of corrected the curse. As a result of that, even though he was born as the son of Shudra, he was not attracted to the regular activities which normal children would do. Instead, when Bhaktivedanta came there, he was attached to serve and he was attached to be there with them. He was attached to help them in their daily activities and he would always listen the discussion they would have. That brought him to the point of becoming the Brahma son. Of course, he was already Brahma's son. Just like he became Shudra's son by the curse of Gandharvas, so he might have, by the curse of the Prajapatis, he might have been cursed by somebody to become a Gandharva. Just like we also see now, Daksha also cursed him not to stay at one place. Like that, somebody might have cursed him in the past. As a result of that, he must have become Gandharva. Then some of the Prajapatis cursed him to become Shudra, and from Shudra again he became original Narada Muni. Because Narada Muni is also as old as Brahma, he is also 50 years old. So once in a while, because of some reason, somebody becomes disheartened and they may curse and they have to go through for a small time period, they have to go through detour and then come back to original position. All these things happened in the previous day of Brahma. Like that. Though born as a Shudra, by association with the devotees, I became the son of Brahma at the beginning of this Brahma's day. Or Tatrapi can mean, in spite of the curse, I became the son of Brahma by the association of devotees. Even though cursed me to be a Shudra son, bereft of beauty and all other things, but the Bhakti Vedanta's association is so powerful that I became son of Brahma. This story shows that Bhakti originated in a previous life. Anusangena means by repeated association or favorable association. So currently Narada Muni is considered to be a great devotee, but he being great devotee is the result of his association with Bhakti Vedantas or Bhakti Vedantas causeless mercy upon the Shudras by. In spite of being the son of a Shudrani, he became Narada Muni. That is the greatness of Bhakti. So Bhakti can do anything. So on my own, I failed to do my duties properly. As a result of that, I was degrading. But the Bhakti had the power to elevate me to the point where I am now. Just like you, Pandavas, have gone through so many difficulties, but Bhakti protected you. Bhagavan protected you always. Like that, Bhakti can do for everyone. Like that, he is indirectly indicating. Dharmaste gruhamediyo
Dharmaste grahamedhiyo
varnita papanashana
varnitah papanashanah
grasto yena padavim
grahasto yena padavim
anjasa nyasinam yat.
anjasa nasinam iyat.
I have described to you the conduct of a person situated in family life, which destroys sin. By this method, the householder can quickly attain the position of renunciation. So, last two chapters talks about how a householder should perform household duties. Such a person is qualified to enter into Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, eventually attain liberation. This is the conclusion of that section. Now, last 4-5 verses. He glorifies Pandavas. After talking about his own past life, the power of bhakti, see the power of bhakti that made a son of Shudrani as the son of Brahma as a great devotee. That is the greatness of bhakti. Same way for Pandavas, he said that, and you Pandavas are not ordinary. You may think that I am a great devotee, but you Pandavas are so great that people like me come to your home. Because Lord is always in your home only. You are so great that Lord is always in your home. If we want to have darshan of the Lord, we have to come to your home. To see your greatness. So like that, Narada Muni is glorifying Pandavas. Yuyam Ruloke Bataburi Bhaga.
Yuyam
Lokam.
Driloke. Sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yuyam Driloke Batabhuri Bhaga.
Lokam Punana Munayo Biyanti.
Lokam Punana Munayo Bhiyanti.
Yesham Grahana Vasatiti Sakshat.
Yesham Grihana Vasatiti Sakshat.
Gudam Param Brahma Manushalingam.
Gudam Param Brahma Manushalingam.
Tava Ayam Brahma Mahadvimrugya. Mataji, please repeat.
Tava Ayam Brahma Mahadvimrudya.
Kaivalya Nirvana Sukhanubhutihi.
Kaivalya Nirvana Sukhanubhutihi.
Priya Surudya Kalumatuleya.
Priyat Surudva Kadumatuleya.
Atmarhaniyo Vidikrit Guruscha.
Atmarhaniyo Vidhikrit Guruscha.
Nayasya Sakshat Bhava Padma Jadivi.
Nayasya Sakshat Bhavapadvajadibihi.
Rupam Diya Vastutayopavarnitam.
Rupam Dhiya Vastutayopavarnitam.
Maunena Bhaktopachamena Pujita.
Maunena Bhaktyopasamena Pujitaha.
Prasidatamesh Satvatam Patihi.
Prasidatam Esha Satatvatam Patihi.
So here Narada Muni is saying that you Pandavas are most fortunate in this world. Sages who purify the planets come to your houses because the Supreme Brahman personally resides in your home as a human form. You are better than Prahlada and all of us. Definitely you are far superior to all the Varnas including Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra and all ashramas including Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. This is repeated. In the past also same verse came and repeated. So Narada Muni, somebody might say that Narada Muni, you are so great devotee, you have become Brahma's son and you can, whenever you sing, Lord is present. which छोड़ दो मैं सिंग करेगा तो ना भगवान आएगा आप सिंग करने के पहले भगवान आपके पास ही रहते हैं आपको सिंग करने का भी जरूरत नहीं भगवान को देखने के लिए पूरा दुनिया आपके घर पे आ रहे हैं so like that इसलिए Parabrahman Krishna who is sought by the sages for happiness of liberation is acting as your best well-wisher, your friend, your cousin, your heart and soul, your respectable giver of orders and your guru. He has become Priya, Suhrud, Matuleya, Atmarahaniyo, Vitikrit Guru. He is everything for you. May the Lord of the Shashvatas, Lord Krishna, whose form cannot be factually described by Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, or others by their intelligence, and who is worshipped by silence by many jnanis and yogis, and by bhakti, and by sense control, be pleased. Silence means dhyana, and bhakti means dhyana means Ashtanga Yoga. Bhakti is Bhakti Yoga. Sense control means Jnana Yoga. The Supreme Lord is worshipped by Karma Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. May that Lord be pleased by all of us. Like that. So that's how Narada Muni is saying that he stopped. In the last couple of verses, Sukadeva Goswami is completing this canto. Sri Shuka Uvacha
Sri Shuka Uvacha
Iti Devarshina Proktam
Iti Devarshina Proktam
Nishamya Bharatarshapha
निशम्य भरतर्षभा
पूजयाम आस सुप्रीता
पूजयाम आस सुप्रीता
कृष्णं च प्रेम विवला
कृष्णं च प्रेम विभला
कृष्ण पार्ता उपामन्त्र्य
कृष्ण पार्थावुपामन्त्र्य
पूजिता प्रणयौ मुनि
पूजिता प्रययौ मुनि
श्रुत्वा कृष्णं परं ब्रह्म
श्रुत्वा कृष्णं परं ब्रह्म
पार्थ परमा विस्मितः
पार्थ परमा विस्मिता
इति दाक्षायणीनां ते
इति दाक्षायणीनां ते
पृथग्वंशा प्रकीर्तिता
पृथग् वंशा प्रकीर्तिता
देवासुरमनुष्याद्य
देवासुरमनुष्याद्या
लोका यत्र चराचरः
लोका यत्र चराचरा.
So Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the best member of the Bharata dynasty, after hearing from Narada with great affection and prema, worshipped Lord Krishna. The word Cha indicates that he also worshipped Narada Muni. He was in ecstasy because he was thinking how Krishna was acting as his brother, well-wisher, friend, relative, guru, and order giver, all these things. Narada, after being worshipped by Lord Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthira, bade them farewell and departed. Yudhishthira Maharaja, having heard that Krishna was the supreme Brahman, was struck with wonder. Krishna Parthav means Krishna and Arjuna, or Krishna and Yudhishthira. When Narada was about to depart, they again worshipped him. So, like that. Then finally, Sukadeva Goswami says, I have thus described the different dynasties arising from Daksha's daughters, which generated devatas, demons, and humans, and other moving and non-moving entities, which is started in 6th canto. The topic is concluded now. Like that is closing. So this is how successfully 7th canto we completed. Thank you very much for staying with us all the while. So congratulations to all. 7th canto completed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji, you will,
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you will continue no, with the 8th canto.
Okay, we'll continue.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So in